Today's cover is supposed to be John with his crush Jennifer, but Jennifer looks just like one of the Wakefield twins. Maybe the cover artist only knows how to draw one blonde teenager and they just keep reusing her over and over on every cover.
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
John Pfeiffer is normally a happy guy, but recently he seems sad and depressed. The narrator tells us that Elizabeth normally hates to interfere in someone else's life. Really? Get real, narrator. I've read other books in this series. Elizabeth loves to meddle in the affairs of other people. That's the entire premise of her character. Well, Elizabeth normally hates to interfere in someone else's life, but John is just so upset, Elizabeth can't help but ask, what's wrong? The problem is that John has a mega crush on Jennifer Mitchell, his next-door neighbor. Unfortunately, Jennifer just started dating Rick Andover, the town's bad boy. Not to be confused with the 5 other bad boys who have appeared in different books, this town has a lot of generic bad boys. Well, this particular bad boy is a criminal. Rick's a criminal who's sure to hurt Jennifer. Elizabeth tells John the best thing he can do is nothing. Leave Jennifer alone, and hopefully she'll figure out on her own that Rick is bad news. Later, we learn that Jennifer and Rick are planning to run away to New York together. John wants to stop them, but again, Elizabeth's advice is to do nothing. Jennifer's parents clearly don't need to know that their underage daughter is running away with a criminal. I don't know why Elizabeth has a reputation for giving good advice. That is a bad plan. Like, so what if Jennifer gets mad at you, John? Saving her life is more important than that. John and Elizabeth follow Rick, and they see him rob a music store. John says to call the police, but good advice Elizabeth says no. Maybe this is a pretend robbery. Right, pretend robbery. That happens all the time. Rick is arrested, Jennifer is heartbroken, and she decides the entire thing was a setup by her dad. He must have framed Rick. She yells at her dad and refuses to talk to him ever again. Dad is so hurt by this, he collapses from a heart attack and ends up in the hospital. She still refuses to talk to him. So John's got a dilemma. Does he tell Jennifer that he got Rick arrested? If he does, she'll hate him forever. But if he doesn't, her dad could die thinking she hates him. John asks Elizabeth for advice because he hasn't caught on to the fact that her advice is bad. Elizabeth forces John to confess immediately. He does, and Jennifer gets extra mad. The title of this book is White Lies, and clearly the moral is that it's wrong to tell lies to spare someone's feelings. So guess how Elizabeth resolves the situation? She lies! Yeah, she wasn't paying attention to what happened earlier. Elizabeth buys Jennifer a rose and says it's from John. Jennifer cries it out and says she doesn't want to hate anyone anymore. She and John make up because he's the best friend she's ever had. In the subplot, Jessica butts heads with her boyfriend AJ. They disagree over what to do on Friday, and they disagree over what the best vacation is. AJ sees Jessica flirt with another guy, and he gets upset when Jessica gossips about what guy in town is best at kissing. Elizabeth worries they're going to break up. Jessica also lies to get out of her problems. Specifically, she lies and says she helped start a local charity. AJ's impressed with how good of a person she is, and that's it. Elizabeth just shrugs off the entire event, and she doesn't set the record straight. So the Lying is Bad book has 2 plots where the girls lie to get happy endings. It completely contradicts the moral of the story. The end. Post-book follow-up. The first third of this book was hard to get through, and I lost my place a few times. Part of the problem is that it's boring. We get 2 separate recaps of Rick's first book, when 1 recap would have sufficed. But mainly the problem is that the book is unfocused. It doesn't seem to know if the main story should be Jennifer running away or John with Jennifer. Most of the Jennifer-Rick scenes were done via flashback, which is an interesting stylistic decision, but it just complicated the problem of I don't know what story the book wants to tell. It's like the author wanted to go with one story, but changed their mind partway through. The subplot with Jessica was also unfocused. It felt like 4 unrelated scenes, which all kind of deal with her boyfriend problems, but not really. The most interesting one was when she hit on another guy in front of her boyfriend, but the book moves on and that never gets mentioned again. The book gets better once Rick is out of the picture and the narrative focus settles on the John-Jennifer drama. So I would recommend 2 ways to improve this book. Number 1, rewrite the first third so it keeps the focus on the John-Jennifer drama. Number 2, condense the first third of the book so we get to the good part sooner. Spend less time building up the drama and more time on the actual drama. That's always a good idea. Also, could we maybe get a scene of Jennifer and John being friends before drama happens? We never get a reason for why the reader is supposed to root for them as a couple, besides for he likes her. Overall, the book is poorly done. The first part is unfocused, as I said. It felt like the author changed their mind about what they wanted to write about partway through. The rest of the book was relatively solid, although things were stretched out a little bit, and the ending where the girls lie to make things better completely undercuts the moral about honesty in relationships. So, bad beginning, bad ending, in the middle that's just okay. Not a book I would recommend. I give Sweet Valley High, number 52, White Lies, a 2 out of 10.